Hey everyone, Matthew here. We're taking a quick detour from our regular programming for a special bonus episode. Over the last 10 episodes, we've dug deep into the why, the importance of self questioning, finding your values, embracing uncertainty, the power of community and contribution, legacy, voice, vulnerability, and finally, taking action. Today, we're going to see how those themes played out in the real life of someone you might already know, though we're going to tell their story a little differently at first. This is called the tale of Barnaby and the Unseen Peak. Imagine a small village nestled at the foot of a colossal mountain range. In this village lived a humble baker named Barnaby. Barnaby wasn't just any baker. He poured his heart and soul into every loaf, believing that even the simplest act could bring a little joy to the world, a clear echo of the power of contribution we talked about in episode 6. But Barnaby felt a nagging restlessness. He looked up at the towering, often cloud-shrouded peaks and felt a pull towards something more. The highest summit, they said, was unclimbable, shrouded in mist and legend, a perfect metaphor for the uncertainties of life we explored in episode 4. The villagers, content in their valley, often scoffed at Barnaby's quiet yearning. Why bother with the impossible, they'd say, echoing the societal assumptions we discussed in episode 2. One day, Barnaby decided he'd had enough of just looking. Driven by a deep-seated value of exploration and a desire to leave some kind of mark, which is his legacy, he began to prepare. He questioned the accepted wisdom that the peak was unreachable, sought advice from the few who had dared to venture higher, and faced his own fears of the unknown. Barnaby's journey was arduous. He stumbled, he doubted himself, and the mountain threw obstacle after obstacle on his path. But he kept putting one foot in front of the other, driven by his inner compass, and the belief that even a baker from a small village could achieve something extraordinary. Along the way, Barnaby encountered others, some encouraging, some dismissive. He learned that true progress often requires pushing past the noise and speaking your own truth. He also realized that the journey itself, the act of striving, was bringing a deeper kind of meaning to his life. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Barnaby broke through the clouds. The view from the summit was breathtaking, a panorama of the world he knew and so much more. But the real revelation wasn't the view. It was the realization of what he had overcome, the limits he had shattered, not just the mountains, but his own. The story of Barnaby and the Unseen Peak is a metaphor for life's challenges. We all face seemingly insurmountable obstacles, internal doubts, and external pressures. But like Barnaby, we have found the capacity to question those limitations, to find our own path, and to take action towards what truly matters to us. However, this wasn't just a made-up tale. The baker, Barnaby, was in reality Edmund Hillary, and the seemingly unclimbable mountain he set his sights on was Mount Everest. His journey, filled with questioning the impossible, finding support, facing uncertainty, and ultimately taking decisive action, perfectly embodies so many of the themes we've explored. Edmund Hillary's life proves that it is absolutely humanly possible to live out these principles and achieve what many deem impossible. Edmund Hillary once said, a quote that perfectly encapsulates his spirit and the themes we've discussed, which is, "It is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves." Once again, it is not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. Think about that for a moment. It wasn't just about reaching the top of Mount Everest for Edmund Hillary. It was about the internal journey, the self-discovery, the pushing of his own boundaries. That's the kind of legacy we're all capable of building. One step, one question, one act of courage at a time. Thanks for joining me for this bonus episode. We'll be back with our regular programming next time. Until then, I'm Matthew, and this is the Meaning of Life podcast. And remember, keep questioning, especially yourself.